The Tennessee Volunteers are national champions, all about Tennessee's 6-5 win over Texas A&M in Game 3 of the College World Series. That and more. It's a Tuesday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you. Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Cain. Appreciate you guys for being with me here today and making Locked On Vols a part of your morning routine, your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. So much to get into here today. Obviously, the first segment or two, we're going to talk Tennessee baseball, national champions. How about that? We'll get into a football recruit later on in segment number 3, but Tennessee, natty. Won a natty. You always talk about, you're going to win a natty, you're going to win a national championship. We're going to play for the national championship. We're going to win the national championship. I want to transfer there because I want to win a natty. Goal is the national championship. Tennessee just won it. Tennessee just won the national championship. How about that? Man, couldn't happen to a better group of guys, too. I'm really, really happy for them. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm doing this from not John Wilkerson's booth, so it's not as good, but from a radio booth up here in Omaha. Segment 3 was recorded before the game. We're going to talk about the commitment of Douglas Utu. Quick programming note, no Locked On Vols coming up on Wednesday because I will be traveling. I'll be traveling all day Tuesday. Won't have time to record something on Wednesday. So no show coming up on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday and Friday. So I wanted to get that out there. But I did want to give my immediate reactions to Tennessee winning a national championship. Man, the celebration down there on the field was awesome. I'm just walking around. I've got my phone in my hand. I'm just trying to get video, instant reaction. I got a quote from Josh Heupel, who was here. Got a quote from Rick Barnes, who was here. Got a quote from Peyton Manning. I mean, 10-year-old Eric Cain, if I went back at 31-year-old, that's how I am right now. Yeah, I'm old, I know. And somebody will comment on there and say, you think 31's old? I know. If I go and tell 10-year-old Eric Cain that 31-year-old Eric Cain shook Peyton Manning's hand and got a quote from him, first of all, I'd be like, got a quote from him? Whatever. I didn't know I wanted to be a journalist back then. I mean, that's so cool. I love this job. Poor Peyton, too. Everybody just want to talk to him. And, I mean, I was kind of lurking, obviously. But, I mean, I was working an angle trying to get quotes from, the big important people so we can get some quick reaction out there. And I was like, I mean, who's bigger in this stadium than Peyton Manning? And so I kind of waited that out a little bit. And he was so gracious. He was so nice. He was so cool. And that was really, really cool. But, I mean, you had the who's who down there, right? And, I mean, Tony Vitello's a superstar. And, everybody's so happy and joyful. And, I mean, you got guys, laughing and hugging and crying. And, Drew Beam, I think, kind of said it best. I mean, he was on, he was out of this world. He was just saying, like, I'm happy, I'm ecstatic, I'm sad. I'm like, why are you sad? Because he's like, I'll never get to play with these guys again. I'll never get to play with these my friends. This is the last game that we ever got to play with one another. At least we made it count, won a national championship. So, I don't know. I thought the celebration was really, really cool. I've got some confetti in my pocket here. Hopefully, I got enough, and I'm going to get a Omaha Herald paper in the morning before I leave, and I'm going to frame that, and that's going to go in my back. That's going to go in, part of my my design back at home, and can't wait for that. So, for a selfish reasons here, this is the highlight of my career. It's fun. It's a blast. Did I necessarily want to spend, 12 days in Omaha, Nebraska in 100-degree heat? No, I didn't. But I wanted to see this team win a national championship. Why? Because the people who allow me to do what I do for a living are Tennessee fans. And it means something to you. And so I wanted to see that. Number 2, I wanted to see these guys win because you cover a team on the beat for 60-some-odd games. Sorry, that was the amount of wins. I promise I'll get into the actual game here in a moment. I'm just kind of reacting right now. That was the amount of wins that Tennessee had this year. And that is the most wins ever by an SEC program. Chew on that a little bit. Man, that's incredible. But you cover this team for 75 games, and you get to know these players and how they treat you and how they're accommodating and just so very appreciative to these guys. So I wanted to see them win. It was cool. It was really, really cool to see them running out on the field. I haven't had a chance to sit back and look at the coverage and look at the videos and everything that I've done because obviously been so busy. But one of the coolest things that I think will ever happen in my career happened tonight. And I didn't even play in the game. I didn't win the game. I mean, I'm on cloud nine because I'm so blessed that I get to be here and cover it. So those of you guys watching at home, those of you guys screaming at the TV and maybe paying attention to VolQuest and maybe listening to John on the radio, and we're living by every pitch. I mean, gosh, it got dicey there at the end, didn't it? Man, oh man, did it get dicey there at the end. I mean, living on a prayer. And the run that ended up counting was, the run that ended up being the difference was Hunter Ensley, and he was going to be thrown out by a mile, but he found a way to finagle the catcher and get by and cross home plate. He takes the helmet off and he slams it down. He throws it because it was such a big moment, and credit the umpires. Credit the umpires for not making it about them. Credit umpire Grady Smith at home plate for not making it about him in that situation. Credit Tony Vitello, too, for sprinting over there and getting the helmet. Wherewithal to know it's an emotional play, let your players play, but, kind of go and show the umpire like, hey, I got it, all that type of stuff. I don't know. That was just something I noticed. But Dylan Dreiling, what more can you say, man? What more can you say? College World Series MVP. He had 3 2-run home runs in the 7th inning in the College World Series Finals. On Saturday, on Sunday, on Monday, every time in the 7th inning, he had a 2-run home run. Wow. That was something that was just something to behold. I thought that was really, really cool and really interesting. He was really, really good. And again, tonight he had 2 hits, drove in 3 runs, and I'll get to pitching here in a moment, but Tennessee did enough. Tennessee's the last team standing, and it's pretty cool to see this team kind of avenge the 2022 team. And so many times people want to compare this team to that team and this team to the 2022 team. And so many people from afar want to hate Tony Vitello, want to hate the Tennessee baseball team because of the 2022 team. And for better or for worse, they celebrated. They had fun with it. And those were some great guys on there as well. I mean, I've gotten to know Luke Lipsius very well here lately and, doing the Porch podcast. And I'm a big fan of Luke. I'm a big fan of a lot of those players. But so many people had assumptions about Tennessee and had thoughts about Tennessee from afar, and they took it out on the 23 team. They took it out on the 24 team. But Tennessee's team in 2023 comes back, and they make it right back to Omaha when 2022 came up a game short and, picked up where 2021 left off. And then it was this 24 team that came and went all the way to the top. And, lost a game along the way. It was game number 1 of the College World Series final, but in typical Tennessee fashion, Tennessee bounced back. Tennessee lost 3 Friday night games in SEC play, and all 3 of those series, Tennessee won 2 and bounced back and won that series. I get the before now because technically this was an SEC series, but just on a bigger scale. So anyway, got a lot more to get into. I'm going to talk about Zander Sechrist, going to talk about this game. We'll talk recruiting in segment number 3. Remember, no Locked On Vols podcast tomorrow. On Wednesday, I'll be traveling all day Tuesday, so I won't have time, but we'll come back. We'll continue the discussion here. Tennessee, national champions, 6-5 victory over Texas A&M. More on that talk when we come back here on Locked On Vols. I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. I'm sure you're the same way. But as we can tell here, the playoffs winding down. We get fewer and fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But over at FanDuel, it lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And for this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers, not just new customers, all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So whether you're checking out Major League Baseball games, golf on the weekends, NASCAR on the weekends, whatever the case, throughout the week, there's a lot going on still, even in these summer months. But of course, there's a lot of baseball, Major League Baseball happening right now. All customers can get a boost or a bonus daily all summer long. So head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, it's the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Hey, welcome back into your Tuesday edition of Locked On Vols. And of course, we're talking about the Tennessee Volunteers, the national champion Tennessee Volunteers. First baseball national championship in program history, the first Tennessee team national championship since the '09 women's track and field team, the first national championship game that was played since the '08 Lady Vols, 24th team national championship, first in baseball history for the Tennessee Volunteers, avenging the 1951 Volunteers that fell to Oklahoma 3-2. Tennessee becomes the first SEC team to win 60 games in a season, in a single season. We can do a story, we can do a show about all the records this team broke, but at the end of the day, none of that matters if you don't win the ship. And Tennessee won the ship this year. Tennessee is national champion, so awesome stuff. Tennessee had control of this game from the get-go, and sure, it got a little risque there as the game went on, and it got pretty flat-out nerve-wracking as time went on, but Tennessee never trailed in this game. Tennessee took a 1-0 lead from Christian Moore's leadoff solo home run in the bottom of the first inning, and Tennessee led 1-0. Then you had a sacrifice fly in the second inning. You had an RBI single in the second inning. I believe that one of those was from Dean Curley. I think the sac fly was from Dylan Dreiling, and Tennessee led 3-1 after A&M tied it briefly, just ever so briefly, on an unearned run in the top of the third inning. Tennessee comes back, puts 2 on in the bottom of the third, and Tennessee's leading 3-1. Tennessee comes in and scores 3 runs in the bottom of the seventh inning, 2 runs coming off a 2-run home run from Dylan Dreiling. And, I mean, that was huge, obviously. And the Kavaris Tears, the RBI double, and that scored Hunter Inslee, and that was just a huge run, as we've been talking about. I mean, that was the last run scored, and that was most important because Tennessee led by 1 run at the end of the game at 6-5. And then you go in there, and you've got Nate Snead laboring. He threw 34 pitches. He threw in 5 games. 5 of the 6 games here in the College World Series, Nate Snead threw in, which is just mind-blowing to me. And you turn it over to Dylan Loy, and Dylan Loy did not do well, but Dylan Loy is going to be a stud, I can tell you that. I think Dylan Loy is going to be a really, really good pitcher for this team moving forward in the future, the Pitch and Forge native. But he lasts only a third of an inning. He walks, he gives up 2 hits and allows a run. You go over and give it to Kirby Cannell. He's able to get you 2 outs, which is big, 2 strikeouts, which is huge. And then you hand the ball over to Aaron Combs. Say, Aaron Combs, you got a 3-run lead. Go win us a ball game. Go win us a natty. And the guy leads off with a double. It's like, okay, well, that run doesn't matter. That run doesn't matter at all. A couple wild pitches, and he comes around, scores, and that's okay. And that run doesn't matter, and all that. I mean, you got the tying run at the plate as the game is coming to an end, and he gets 3 strikeouts, and as a pitcher, ending the College World Series, winning the College World Series via strikeout, 3 of them in the bottom of the 9th inning, top of the 9th inning. I mean, what better feeling can you have than that? Man, Aaron Combs is just so big for this Tennessee team each of the past 2 games. This is coming off throwing 60 pitches in yesterday's win over Texas A&M as well. So I thought that was huge. And then, of course, Zander Sechrist. I mean, gosh, what more can we say about him? I mean, look at these numbers. Today he goes, apologies, my mouse went to sleep. Today Zander Sechrist goes 5 innings and a third. He allows 1 run. It was not earned. Oh, this is wrong here. This says that it was earned. It's not earned. 6 hits, 5 innings and a third, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk on 88 pitches. I mean, Zander Sechrist is just, I mean, what more can you say about this guy? Over his final 6 starts, that included winning the regular season, putting Tennessee in the SEC tournament championship game, moving Tennessee on to supers, moving Tennessee on to the College World Series, putting Tennessee in the College World Series finals, and then finally starting the game that wins it all for the University of Tennessee. Zander Sechrist over his last 6 starts has been phenomenal. A combined 34 innings and 2/3, 9 runs, 4 of them earned, 29 hits, 28 strikeouts, and 4 NCAA postseason starts, including 2 in Omaha. The Southpaws combined to toss 22 innings and 2/3, 7 runs, 2 earned, 21 hits, and 19 strikeouts. I mean, Zander Sechrist is not even on this planet right now. It's incredible. So, just one of the best storylines of this team. Hunter Inslee is such a great storyline. Zander Sechrist is such a great storyline. Christian Moore, arguably the best player on the planet, such a great storyline. Dylan Dreiling, who was MVP, such a storyline. Blake Burke, his bounce back year, phenomenal. I mean, we can go on and on and on. and on. Drew Beam, AJ Causey, Nate Snead, Kirby Cannell. That's what national championships teams produce. All these storylines. And people like me that got to ride these up over the next couple of weeks, because your boy's going to be, it's going to be hella late before I get back to the hotel tonight, and I'm going to be traveling all day tomorrow. But nonetheless, just what an effort. What an effort. I'm super duper blessed. Super duper blessed to be able to do this. As you can see, I never have a script. I don't want to act like I do, but I'm just kind of freelancing this thing right now. I'm just kind of spitting. Everything I got right here, because it's immediately after this game. Oh, Tennessee wins 6-5. Tennessee wins 6-5. Thought Tennessee did a really good job of getting to the starter, Justin Lampkin. This is his third start here at Omaha, and Tennessee made him pay. 60 pitches through 2 2/3. He allowed 3 runs. Evan Aschenbach, who's their closer, who has 10 saves on the year coming into the College World Series, or coming into the finals round, I should say. Really, really good pitcher. Tennessee got to him as well. 3 innings, 3 runs off 6 hits. He had to pitch 46 pitches after throwing 54 pitches in the first game back on Saturday. Tennessee just found a way. So at the end of the day, Tennessee is the last team standing. Tennessee is victorious. Tony Vitello has his national championship. Really, really happy for him. Really, really happy that people got to see him and his teams on this stage. And if so many people just want to hate on Tennessee because they put on a fur coat and a daddy hat and they hit a lot of home runs and they bat flip and they have a lot of fun like they did in 2022, but don't know the work and don't know the determination and the relentless effort and all that type of stuff on an everyday basis that Tony Vitello brings. It's really kind of cool being in these national press conference settings, or locally for a regional or something, or even in Hoover for the SEC tournament. It's like you see people that don't want to like him, and they kind of walk away saying, "Oh man, he dropped that movie reference. That's funny, man. He's a real personable guy." Well, of course he is. He loves sports. He loves movies. He loves pop culture. He loves baseball, and he's champion. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say, guys. Tennessee's national champion. I mean, did you ever think that Tennessee would win another national championship? I mean, I don't remember much. I mean, I remember Lady Vols winning it a lot, when I was younger. I don't remember 98. There's people younger than me that try to say, "Oh, I remember when Tennessee won in 98." I'm like, no, you don't. I don't remember that. No, there's no way you remember that. I'll never forget this one. That's for damn sure. I'll never forget this one. I'm here in person. I spent 12 days in Omaha. I covered it. I enjoyed myself, and the team I covered won a national championship. So this is really, really cool. Really, really cool. Congratulations to you, Tennessee fans. Congratulations to you, Tennessee baseball fans that howl me about putting more baseball in this podcast, who've been watching since Serrano and Delmonico even, and congrats to you guys. Congrats to Tennessee fans in general. They say all sports school. Well, you got a daggum natty now, okay? There's some validity to that, for sure. And oh yeah, battered ball syndrome. Texas finally fires their head coach. On the day of the national championship. I think it's hilarious. I think that guy, Jim Schlossnagle in the Texas A&M dugouts, the prime candidate there, and we'll see if it gets done. But Tennessee, people have been asking me all day long, "Are you sure Tony Vitello will have anything to worry about? Are you sure?" Tony Vitello ain't going nowhere. 100%. I mean, I don't want to. Again, I shouldn't say 100%. I will never say never. But Tony Vitello ain't going nowhere. Tony Vitello is not going anywhere. So I can tell you that with the utmost confidence. And he's about to get paid, and his assistants are about to get paid, and they're going to try to do it all over again next year. Transfer portal, MLB draft, all that and more. There's so much more. It literally never stops. But Tennessee baseball are the last team standing on the final game of the season, the very last day. Tennessee baseball reigns supreme for the first time in program history. So hope you enjoyed my instant reaction. Appreciate you guys for following along all the coverage. Hopefully the next time you see this episode of Locked On Vols, I'll be back in the home office and everything will be back set up. We'll talk recruiting. Douglas Utu pre-recorded that segment. He committed to the University of Tennessee. That's coming up next as we continue on here on Locked On Vols. Don't forget, no Wednesday Locked On Vols, so plan accordingly. We'll be back on Thursday. This is Locked On Vols.
Passion, drive, patience, the formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive today. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and leveled up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money is back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. It's only available to U.S. customers. All right, guys, welcome back into your Tuesday edition of Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys for being here. This will be, let's knock on wood here, this will be my last segments on the road for quite some time. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I was over at the stadium, or I was either in the meeting room downstairs in the hotel. It was sometime in the wee hours of Tuesday morning when I recorded the baseball segments a little moment ago. You guys know I kind of did this on yesterday's show. Before the national championship game, I'm going to pound out this recruiting segment here in segment number 3, and I'm doing it from my hotel room, so just trying to stay ahead of the game. But anyway, when I get back home, be back in the home studio, things will be starting looking normal again, and going to really dive down deep into this summer football conversation, because it's going to be here before you know it. And, of course, we're going to talk about Douglas Utu coming up, Tennessee's third commit while I've been in Omaha, by the way, so maybe I should just stay out here, right? And that's coming up here in a matter of seconds. Do want to make a programming announcements, and I'm not sure if I mention it or if I will mention it in the first couple of segments. Time is a funny thing. No Locked On Vols tomorrow on Wednesday. No Locked On Vols on Wednesday. So you won't have an audio feed. You won't have a video feed. I will return for Thursday and Friday, but I'm going to be traveling all day on Tuesday. I'm going to be traveling all day long. Got to get down to Kansas City somehow and catch a flight out. Guys, you wouldn't believe how expensive, maybe you would if you're in Omaha, how expensive these flights to Omaha are and out of Omaha are. It's ridiculous. So I got to get to Kansas City, got to catch a flight, and I'll be getting home around 9:30 or 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. So no Locked On Vols on Wednesday. I do apologize, but want you guys to be aware and program, plan accordingly. But we'll be back on Thursday and Friday, still recapping everything baseball here from Omaha and whatever's going on in Tennessee recruiting. Tennessee recruiting right now, Douglas Utu committed to the University of Tennessee on a Monday morning. We'll call it about 11:30 Eastern time. And like I said, this is the third commit since I've been out in Omaha. And not only is it the third commit, this is the third, lineman. This is the third lineman commit for the University of Tennessee. So Tennessee's kind of on a nice little run right now. And, of course, it's got to turn these June official visits into, July flowers. And I know it's not July yet, but Douglas Utu is one of those guys. He came in on his official visit this past weekend and had a great time. And, of course, he's been recruited by Tennessee for quite some time, but he went ahead and made it official while he was here on his official visit, told the staff that he was committed, and then he went public on a Monday morning. So that's awesome. Tennessee's getting a really, really good player. 6'4", 315 pounds from Bishop Gorman High School. That's in Las Vegas. It's a powerhouse. It's where Cedric Tillman came from, if that name Bishop Gorman kind of sticks out to you. Tennessee also had a running back commit at one point in time. I believe it was in last year's cycle, maybe the year before. Didn't end up in the class, but Bishop Gorman, churns out some really, really nice football players, and Douglas Utu is one of those guys. He is a tackle at the high school level, but he's going to project in the interior. And Tennessee's got to replace so many guys in the interior, for next football season. Cooper Mays, of course, you're already replacing Ollie Lane. You Javonte Spraggins, Jackson Lampley, Andre Keurig. We'll see I think technically he could play again another year, but we'll see. Dane Davis is another one of those guys that can play in the interior. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you're going to have to replace from the guard, center, guard positions, and I think Tennessee's doing a really nice job. Already 3 commits for the interior of the offensive line, and of course, last year you got some interior and you focused a little bit on tackle. Now you're going to be going and focusing on tackle like David Sanders, Juan Gaston, Juan Gaston can slide inside and play guard as well. Excuse me, and some other guys. Excuse me. But yeah, I think Tennessee's doing a nice job building this class, and we'll get to the other commits here in a moment. But Douglas Utu, 6'4", 315 pounds from Las Vegas. The On3 industry rankings have him as, let's see here. The On3 industry rankings have him as the number 53 overall prospect in the class of 2025. Not bad. The third ranked interior offensive lineman and the number 2 prospect out of the state of Nevada. It's pretty good. On3 kind of has him down in the rankings right now more so than the other outlets. And again, it's just about wherever you look. And as we, talked about Nick Moore earlier this week, On3 had him higher than the other ones. All these recruiting services kind of do different cycles throughout the year. But right now, according to the On3 only, he's the 280th prospect in the country, 19th best interior offensive lineman, and 2nd prospect out of the state of Nevada. But that's still really good, right? I mean, you're talking about a top 300 player. That's really, really good. 247 has him as a prospect number 101, so just outside the 100, or the top 100. ESPN has him as the 11th ranked prospect. That's really, really high. And Rivals has him as the 8th ranked prospect right now. So kind of a wide range of rankings right now. But overall, you're a top 300 player. You're a really, really good player. But these industry rankings has him as the number 53rd player overall in the class. And he picked Tennessee over some other schools like Michigan, Nebraska, some other SEC schools as well. Again, I mentioned he was on his official visit coming in over the weekend, and he just really likes the football aspect here at Tennessee. You look over at VolQuest.com, and the impact analysis by Austin Price said, quote, "I would say more than anything I like most is the football. Just the way they run the ball. They are the most successful runners in the Southeastern Conference." And I love this because he's done his research. So many people from the outside looking in are just like, oh, air raid. Oh, Josh Heupel, throw it all over the place. And that happens. But under Josh Heupel, Tennessee has run the football so well in 3 football seasons. So well. And I love it when prospects do their research and say, okay, well, this offense is predicated on the run. This offense can't do anything unless you run the football. And you want to be a part of that. That's awesome. And so Utu gets that, and that's what he told VolQuest.com. He said he has a really, really good relationship with Glenn Ellerby, Tennessee's offensive line coach, who's having a really, really nice cycle, and that's good. For him to have a great cycle, got to go get a David Sanders. Got to go get one of those big fish tackles. And I like where Tennessee is, and I mean I'm not covering recruiting like I used to, but people who are tell me they enjoy where Tennessee is in terms of where they are with David Sanders right now. So we'll see exactly what's to come in that regard. This is from Charles Power. Charles Power, of course, is the director of scouting and rankings for On3. Quote, "Douglas Utu is a prospect that has been on the national radar for quite some time. He's been a standout on the offensive line at Powerhouse Bishop Gorman for several seasons. Despite projecting inside long-term, Utu has primarily worked at tackle for Gorman. So he's polished, he's experienced in pass protection. He's also physically developed and is a prospect who comes into college with a higher floor given the coaching and competitive football he's played to this point. Utu is a solid athlete with versatility to play a few different spots on the line if needed." And that's something that I was mentioning a moment ago, and I'll bring it up again, but also Charles Power said, he's a guy that I love prospects that have tackle experience but shift to the inside. You don't necessarily want it the other way around. You bring guys in who play tackle, and then you shift them down. It's harder to reverse that, if you know what I'm saying, to bring interior guys and to lean them up and all that and shift them out. Why? Well, because tackles have good feet. Tackles are, as Charles points out, more polished in pass protections because they're on an island sometimes. They're having to protect the blind side of their quarterback. And so you're already polished in pass protection. You have really, really good feet. Man, that's gonna pay dividends when you shift to the inside. So I love, high school offensive linemen that play tackle. They go to the next level and shift down and play guard. That's what I like. You've got Utu that now joins a class of Anthony Okmoro and Nick Moore. That's the interior of Tennessee's offensive lineman. I mentioned the tackles that Tennessee's still after right now: David Sanders, Juan Gasson. Tennessee's still looking at Jacoby Ward, who projects as a guard. But overall, this is really, really good for Tennessee. Utu's a good player, and he's been on this board for quite some time. Tennessee now has 14 commits. Before I left for Omaha, Tennessee had 11. Tennessee has 14 commits for the class of 2025, and Tennessee now sits 12th nationally, 7th in the SEC, and Utu becomes Tennessee's second highest rated commit, right behind, of course, 5-star quarterback George McIntyre. George McIntyre is the 5-star quarterback. Douglas Utu is the 4-star offensive interior lineman. Ethan Utley, the 4-star defensive lineman. Rodarius Jackson, the 4-star wide receiver. Jack Van Dorselaer, the 4-star tight end. Jaden Lofton, the 4-star defensive lineman. Defensive tackle. Or defensive lineman, excuse me. Nick Moore, the 4-star offensive lineman. Sidney Walton, the 3-star safety. Anthony Ogmoro, the 3-star interior offensive lineman. Dylan Lewis, the 3-star cornerback. Justin Baker, the 3-star running back. Joakim Dotson, the 3-star wide receiver. Charles House, the 3-star defensive lineman, defensive tackle. And Tyler Redmond, the 3-star cornerback. That is Tennessee's class so far. And it's coming together, looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. But Douglas Utu commits to the University of Tennessee. Tennessee's having a good summer. Got to finish strong. But Tennessee recruiting certainly is doing its job right now, and that's good to see. Appreciate you guys for joining us here today. Thanks so much for being patient the last couple, week and a half or so with the shows. I've been here, I've been there. It's difficult to do this on the road at times. Every day to the capabilities that I wanted to be done, 30 minutes and all that. But I do appreciate you guys. Be back on Thursday. Remember, Thursday will be the next show. No Wednesday Locked On Vols. Please allow me to travel home and go to sleep when I get home. So I'll be traveling all day on Tuesday. No Wednesday Locked On Vols. We'll be back Thursday and Friday morning, and we'll talk Tennessee football, Tennessee recruiting, more reaction from the national championship game for Tennessee baseball, all that and more right here on Locked On Vols. You can watch us, listen to us, download us, subscribe to us, all that for free wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all that. And, of course, Locked On Vols on the YouTube channel. If you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button, please. That helps get our show out to more and more Tennessee fans. As always, appreciate you guys for making Locked On Vols your first listen. We'll do it again on Thursday. That's when the next episode is Thursday. This is Locked On Vols.